Series recap here on BSML Red Sox and Boston Sports Media Live. Red Sox earlier today just wrapped up a 3-game set against the Tampa Bay Rays down at Tropicana Field. I'm your host, David. Good to be back on this post-series recap. I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Ian and Brady. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing fine. Yourself?
Good. So
I'm good. How you doing, Dan?
Oh, good. Thank you, Ian. So
Lag.
general takeaway. We'll just get right into it. General takeaways from how this series went. We are all kind of. You could probably tell by our facial expressions. We're a little glum. There's not too much optimism invoked by the boys of summer right now. But just give me your guys' general takeaways on how these last 3 games went.
It was
You don't even have anything to say.
I mean, it was a winnable series. They should have taken 2 of 3. I don't really know what else to say, really. I mean, they should have at least won this series and at best sweep the Rays. This was an easily winnable series for them. And it felt like any opportunity that they had, they just squandered it. And they just had no answer at all.
Yeah, Monday or the first game of the series, I believe it was Friday night. I mean, that was a nice win. Good to see the Red Sox put another W in the books. Saturday was fine because obviously we saw Garrett Whitlock's first ever career start. But other than that, just overall, just a bad series to watch if you're a Red Sox fan. And I mean, the Red Sox really need to wake up the bats, and that's something that they struggled with over this series. But that's something we can look forward to next series.
Yeah, I mean, I have written down for my general takeaways. I'm just glad we're getting the heck out of Tampa. I don't know the next time we go down to the Trop, but it seems like something always screwy happens whenever we go down there. Brady, you mentioned, I think in the pre-series preview, you alluded to what happened in the ALDS where that guy got the homer off the the low ceiling or whatever in the Trop.
Yeah.
Just weird stuff like that. I remember last year in a game too, Pavetta took a no-hitter deep into the game in the Trop, and then the Rays ended up walking it off on a wild pitch. That sticks out to me. Obviously, the craziest game, in my opinion, of the MLB season to date was Game 2 of the series, which we'll certainly get into. I don't think a lot of us were specifically paying attention to that game due to the Celtics being on, but I aged probably 10, 20 years just from following that game from afar.
I was at a hockey game.
Hey, see, there you go. It's probably for the better. This team is just hard to watch right now. And again, for as much as we're, hating on the Red Sox right now, it's not time to hit the panic button yet. You can't win the season in April. You can certainly lose it, so we have to keep that in account. But, if this keeps persisting, then yes, we absolutely do have a problem. But let's call a spade a spade. Like Ian said, this is a winnable series by the Red Sox. We should have at least taken 2 or 3. We probably could have swept the series too. We had a lead in the game early today. But you have to take these series. Alex Cora, who is currently out right now because he has COVID, always preaches the fact, just win the series, win the series, win the series. That doesn't mean sweep. If you can sweep, great. But just take 2 or 3, 3 or 4, and you'll be fine. Red Sox are having trouble doing that right now. I believe the Red Sox have only won 1 series so far this year over Detroit. We split against Minnesota, lost 2 or 3 to New York, lost 2 or 3 to Toronto, and lost 2 or 3 now to Tampa. So, again, not exactly the time to completely hit the panic button, but just not too much optimism around the Sox right now. But we're going to get into the games here, as we always do. Take it game by game, do specific recaps in depth. Game 1, Red Sox got off to a good start in this one. They had runners on first and third in the first inning, and Alex Verdugo was able to capitalize with an RBI single to make it 1-0 Boston. Verdugo just continues his hot start so far to begin the year. Bases loaded were later in the inning, and Jackie Bradley Jr. got an RBI groundout single to make it 2-0 Red Sox in the first. All we ask from Jackie is to put the ball in play, and so far so good this year from him. So it was 2-0 at that point. Then the bottom of the first, Michael Wacha is taken deep by his former teammate last year and Red Sox killer, Wander Franco. Solo shot in the bottom of the first makes it 2-1 Boston. And look, I love rooting for Wander Franco. I think he's one of the more exciting younger players in the MLB. Guys like him, a Rosarina, I like a Cedric Mullins in Baltimore. Love rooting for those guys. I don't like rooting for them when they're playing the Red Sox. And just what is it about Wander Franco and killing the Red Sox?
Bro, I have no idea. You would think that like the Red Sox killed his dog or something, like the way that he plays against the Sox. I mean, it's absolutely insane. One of my friends, he's another content creator on TikTok, but he covers the Rays, and I was talking to him, and it's just I don't get why Wander Franco always goes off on the Sox. And like he goes, I mean, he's a great player, obviously. Like anytime he plays the Red Sox, he turns into like the best player of all time, and he can just do everything and anything.
I don't know either. It could be the weak pitching. It could be some form of personal gripe against the Red Sox. Maybe he grew up a Yankees fan. But then again, God only knows with Bronco's performance against the Red Sox. But we have to admit how insane of a player he is and what kind of future that guy has in the MLB. And it's insane. I just hope it's not over the Red Sox.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the first warning sign for us seeing Franco as a Red Sox killer should have been in his first game, in his very first MLB game, his debut against Boston at the Trop. He hit a home run, and it's like, of course, at the time we're thinking, oh, how cool this guy makes his debut, but of course, we give up the home run to him in his debut, and ever since then, this is going to be Franco's first full season. But I think Franco last year debuted sometime in May or June or whatever. He didn't play a full season last year, and he was still killing the Red Sox. I remember even that home run he had at Fenway last year. It went off the side of the green monster that went into the center field bleacher seats. It's like only Wander Franco, and like that once in a lifetime occurrence only occurs when he plays the Red Sox. So he just loves playing Boston, and he got to his former teammate again, as I said, Michael Wacha from last year, making it 2-1 at this point. But as we move forward in this game, another player off to a hot start for the Red Sox, Rafael Devers, hit a solo shot in the top of the third inning to make it 3-1. It's Devers' third home run of the season, I believe. Him and Alex Verdugo both have 3 home runs to begin the year so far. Bogarts, later in the top of the third, got double, and Kike Hernandez drove him in with an RBI single to make it 4-1, still top of the third. Then later in the third inning, Travis Shaw nearly hit a 3-run shot down the right field line, but it was ruled foul. And I want to ask your guys' opinions on that because I'm assuming you guys saw the play and you know what I'm talking about, but this would have been a 3-run shot, making it 7-1. Game's probably out of reach at that point, and with the way the game ended, this was a huge one. Even though the Red Sox were going to win this game, spoiler alert, you'd like to have the breathing room making it 7-1. But, Travis Shaw, 3-run supposed long hit down the right field line. It didn't seem like it hooked around the foul pole. I thought it was fair looking at it, but the umps review it and rule it foul. I wish we had a better camera angle on that play, but I just want to hear your guys' thoughts on that whole situation.
Yeah, that situation was so weird because, like, then I'm kind of spoiling your recap here, David, but when Wander Franco hit another home run off of Wacha, they had the camera angle for that home run, but they didn't have the camera angle for Travis Shaw's, foul ball, which probably should have been a home run because it looked like it landed in fair territory. So
seems like a bit of favoritism, doesn't it?
I mean, I don't know how they got the camera angle for Wander Franco's home run, but they didn't get it for Shaw's, but whatever, I guess. I mean, I saw a lot of people talking about how, and like Kevin Youkilis brought this up on the broadcast, and he's like, there needs to be a camera like on the foul pole so that people can actually see where the ball is hooking around the pole. And I agree with that. You need to have a camera there because they've, judgment calls with that over the years. And I mean, at that point in the game, it momentum because Travis Shaw doesn't have a hit. I don't even know if he got a hit in this series, but for a while, he doesn't even have a hit yet. And that would have been so. I don't know. Maybe it changes the tone of the series or something, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know if it bounced around the foul pole. I literally just pulled up the clip, and it looked like it was fair. I don't know what kind of sorcery they're pulling in Tampa Bay. I don't know if they have like a holographic foul pole, but that had to have been gone, and I don't know why they ruled it foul.
Yeah, your guys' guess is as good as mine because it literally, as I said, looks fair the whole way. It doesn't hook around the line. And the one camera angle we got, at least in the Nesson feed, was them looking at it from afar and at a stupid angle. And it's like they kept on showing that replay all those times. And I think Uke was getting kind of pissed at it because it's like you keep showing the same camera angle. And I agree with Ian and Uke. It's like get a camera on that foul pole. Like we could see nothing from that angle. And I'm like, I mean, if this were Fenway, yeah, just ask the fans and they'll make the call and they'll go, yeah, homer. I mean, if you ask Tampa fans, they're going to say it's foul, but I don't know. That hashtag Shaw homered. I'm going to get that hashtag trending, but it is what it is. It was called foul. And also going off what Ian said, it is kind of unfortunate because you don't know how many of those plays Shaw is going to be able to produce because this is not the Travis Shaw from 2015 to 2016 who would belt 20 to 30 homers for you with the Red Sox and Brewers. This is I don't want to say washed up Travis Shaw, but a platoon version of Travis Shaw. So anytime you can get a big hit for us, we would certainly take it. But unfortunately, that was taken away from him right there. So the game remains 4-1. To end the third inning, Xander Bogaerts made a nice jumping catch at short to prevent a run from scoring for Tampa Bay. Thought this was just a nice play because we don't know if Bogaerts is still feeling the effects of his hamstring injury he sustained in the first game of the year. And, a lot of people like to hate on Bogart's defense at short, suggesting that we should have moved him to second after we signed Story. But Bogart's made a heck of a defensive play here, and I just like how he shoves it to his defensive haters and shows that he's still got some hops. So, I guess we can take a second just to get back into this debate here. I don't know if we've actually talked about it yet, but were you guys, when we signed Story, pro moving Bogarts to second base, or would you have liked to just kept them at shortstop? And, how do you feel we can do defensively?
See, I like Story at second base. He was pretty vocal when he came to the Red Sox about saying he'd be willing to move to second base. I like him there, although when Bogarts leaves at the deadline, it'll be nice to see Trevor Story go back to his home position of short and have Christian Arroyo fill in at that second base spot and hopefully have Bobby Dahlbeck somewhere else so we can get Tristan Cassis up in the majors. Because, Ian sent a post. We have a group chat. Ian sent a post by the Woo Sox about how Cassis lit up in a game. Tristan Cassis is the future, man.
Yep. I mean, as we were going back to Story, I always kind of thought it was weird because I think it would have been weird regardless of who you put at second base because Trevor Story and Xander Bogaerts both as really good shortstops. You don't really know either one of their abilities at second base. At first, I thought the idea would have been putting Bogaerts at second just because Story's a better defensive shortstop, in my opinion, but maybe that's just because, the Sox needed a second baseman regardless. And if they wanted to keep Xander Bogaerts around, they probably wouldn't have changed his position. So, I'm not against Story at second. He made some good plays in this game and the rest of the series. And, it also showed his inexperience at second base a little bit in this series as well. But I'm spoiling David's recap here. So
No worries. That's interesting, though, Brady. You said if or when Bogarts leaves at the deadline. So are you convinced that we could be dealing Bogarts?
I felt like it was common knowledge.
Really? Because I think we'll ride with Bogarts until the end of the year, and if he leaves in free agency, he leaves.
I don't think Bogarts necessarily wants out, but
no, he doesn't.
There's a huge want in the Boston Red Sox organization. John Henry wants money, and he does not want to pay Bogarts. So I'm worried, but I'm worried that if Bogarts catches wind of that, then he's going to want to leave sooner. And a lot of people in my circle, at least, are saying that Bogarts is going to dip at the deadline. But I pray to God he stays. But
are you talking about Hein Bloom since he's in your circle now?
I was going to say, what's your source, Brady?
Yeah, correct.
Baseball insider, my uncle. But
he's boys with Hein Bloom. Sorry.
No, but I seriously I talk baseball with people, and people keep saying that Bogarts is going to leave the deadline. I don't know if I'm one of those people who thinks that, but it could happen. What's your guys' take on that?
I don't think it happens.
I don't think it happens either unless the Red Sox are really out of the playoff picture by the deadline. I think that we're going to ride it out with them. And sure, signing Story could be the beginning of the end in terms of, moving Story to shortstop next year. And then you probably put a Royal or someone at second, or maybe you look to try and get someone else at second when the time comes. But look, the Red Sox they want to keep, Chaim Bloom wants to keep Bogarts around. Bogarts wants to stay, but
Can confirm.
you can confirm. So, look, we offered Bogarts. The rumor was we offered Bogarts this offseason a 1-year, $30 million contract extension. Of course, he's going to decline that. Like, that's just insulting. Bogarts is looking for something like 7 years, 200. There just has to be some sort of happy medium, and the Red Sox just can't keep lowballing homegrown players because we learned this lesson with John Lester. They're going to get angry and they're going to leave, and you're just going to botch the whole thing. So, I think Bogarts up until last year, very underrated shortstop. He's finally getting the respect he deserves. You have to keep him in Boston. He's an integral part. Whether you're moving to DH, whether you're moving to second base down the line, you have to keep him in a Red Sox uniform because year in and year out, he's been our most consistent player since 2015. I mean, he hits for average. He's starting to hit for power. If he leaves, it's probably going to be the Red Sox fault unless, his rumored price tag, which he wants $35 million a year. I could see the Red Sox not being willing to pay that. But, at the same time, I go back to the Mookie trade. And I'm just kind of rambling on here a bit. I apologize. But the whole idea of trading Mookie was Mookie wanted the $400 million Trout contract. Red Sox were never going to pay that. So you trade Mookie so you can save money for when the time comes to sign players like Bogarts and Devers. Well, if we let Mookie go and Bogarts go, what the heck was the plan? I mean, I get Meyer is waiting. We drafted Meyer last year.
Sell the team.
Sell the team. Some people would agree with that. But, we have Meyer waiting. Our future infield's going to be crazy with people like Meyer, Cassis, Blaze Jordan, and Nick York. But, we're talking Meyer being ready by 2025. And if Bogarts leaves, there's going to be a three-year gap. So I hope it doesn't happen. I hope the Red Sox come to a conclusion and they're able to bring back Bogarts. But, he will definitely be in a Red Sox uniform for at least the full season.
Also, folks, Nick was talking about, or David, David was talking about our prospects in the minors or in the Florida leagues right now that are up and coming for our infield. If you haven't watched my prospect review, go to my YouTube, youtube.com/user/Brady Deniston. It's up there. I think you guys would really like it. I gave some good commentary on these guys.
And real quick, before we get back to the game, talking about Tristan Cassis for another second, I sent in the group chat that I was getting ready in my MLB The Show franchise to call up Tristan Cassis, but Tristan Cassis broke his forearm, and he's out for 1 to 2 months in my MLB The Show franchise. So hopefully that's not a bad omen for what's to come in real life. But sooner rather than later, Tristan Cassis needs to make his way up to Boston. It's only a matter of time. But we will continue with the game recap here, getting back to it. Bottom fifth, for the second time this game, Wander Franco takes his former teammate, Michael Wacha, deep. Another solo shot makes it 4-2 Red Sox. And, of course, against the Red Sox is when Wander Franco gets his first career multi-homer game. Wacha would be done after 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikes. Then we head at the top of the 6th, and this game just continues to be the Wander Franco show. As in the top of the 6th, Wander Franco made a nice running catch into left field and eventually into foul territory to take a hit away from Vasquez. It's I just don't get it. Every time Wander Franco plays us, not only is he doing stuff offensively, but he's doing stuff defensively. But after that, bottom 7, Matt Strom in the game, first and third, Brandon Lau, RBI groundout makes it 4-3 Boston. And bottom 9 is when things started to get a little bit interesting here, as Jake Diekman struggled to close out the game. We all fell in love, I guess, with Jake Diekman at the end of that Yankees series, and it seems like he could be molding himself into the potential closer here in Boston. But he struggled to get 3 outs in this game, and in fact, he'd only get 2 outs in this game. He loaded the bases with 1 out, but he got a huge strikeout looking on Brandon Lau with 2 gone. But acting Red Sox manager made the executive decision with 2 outs in the 9th to switch to Matt Barnes to get the last out on Wander Franco. And what were you guys thinking at this point when the game came down to the bat of Wander Franco? Were you guys confident with the Matt Barnes versus Franco matchup, or were you nervous?
I was nervous.
No, I was not having much confidence because I remember last year there was a game where it was late in the game and Matt Barnes was coming in to face Wander Franco, and Wander Franco hit like an RBI triple or something like that. So I did not have much confidence. I'm not gonna lie. As much as I do like Matt Barnes, in a sense, I didn't have much confidence in that one.
Yeah, and as we know from last season, toward the end of it, Matt Barnes sort of dropped off in production, and we saw during his first couple outings of 2022 that he wasn't strongest reliever nor the strongest closer. So I was a little bit skeeved out, if you will, but it ended up turning out fine, and we finally put Wander to bed.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. I was very nervous with the game coming down to Wander Franco, who had already had a heck of a game, both offensively and defensively. But Matt Barnes gets the job done. Franco hits a grounder to Story, who dives and throws it on to first to save the game for Boston. Red Sox win 4-3. That's the good news. Bad news, Wander Franco is Wander Franco. And the Red Sox had to use a combination of Austin Davis, Matt Strom, Hanzo Robles, Jake Diekman, and Matt Barnes to close it out. We had to use 5 relievers in a game we really shouldn't have had to, and that's just not what you want to see. It's, I mean, we had those 2 complete wins in the Minnesota series, but a lot of our wins so far this season have been quite ugly.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of a combination of things. We talk about the pitching all the time, but the offense. We kind of thought the offense wasn't going to be the problem or be a problem because you would just think, oh, you got guys like Bogarts and Devers and Verdugo and Story and JD Martinez and all these guys who can hit. And granted, JD's hurt, but other than that, all those guys are hitting. But it's everyone else in the lineup that's not doing anything. And after those guys are hitting, once you get to the bottom of the lineup with runners in scoring position, it just feels like every single time it just doesn't happen. And, I said this, I think it was with Brady when we did the post series and the other day, the problem with the Sox starting pitching and why it doesn't go as long as it probably should, our offense isn't scoring any early runs for them. In this series, they had some run support, yes, but like there was just times where, even if they take a pitcher out early, the Red Sox still don't provide more run support. They might get 2 runs in the first inning and then get none for the rest of the game. So I don't know. It's a little concerning with the way the offense is performing because they were supposed to be the sure thing. And now we kind of have question marks in both pitching and offense, which is not something you want as a baseball team.
Do you have anything to add, Brady?
No, I couldn't have said it more better myself.
Alrighty, so we're now going to get into the second game of the series as the Red Sox took game 1.
The Garrett Whitlock Show.
The Garrett Whitlock Show, and this is arguably, in my opinion, the craziest game of the MLB season so far. Garrett Whitlock got his first career start for the Boston Red Sox, as we would have had Rich Hill starting this game and Evaldi starting game 3, but we wanted to stretch out Evaldi a day to have him for Toronto because Tanner Houck is not vaccinated, so we will not see him in the next series in Toronto per rules. So that's just something that the Red Sox have to work through. But Whitlock gets his first career start for the Red Sox in this game. Feyereisen, JP Feyereisen, gets his second career start for Tampa Bay. He's a bullpen guy. He gave him 2 innings in this game. Whitlock went 4 innings in this game that happened last night, only giving up 1 hit with 7 strikeouts. Garrett Whitlock's family was in attendance for his first career MLB start. And just, I mean, this is like the Garrett Whitlock appreciation channel, guys, but like I just can't say
Garrett
enough
Whitlock
about
supremacy.
Absolutely. I mean, he's just so incredible. I saw some tweets last night saying like the Yankees should fire whoever let Garrett Whitlock's go to us in the Rule 5 draft. I think it was from Carabas, actually. Carabas and some guy from Barstool were going back and forth. And then the guy from Barstool said, No, those Yankees coaches should stay hired. They've done an excellent job at letting the Red Sox steal Yankees top talent. I mean, you know, we we Garrett Whitlock. I'm at a loss of words. I don't really know how else to describe it. But Ian, you have guys who are like utility guys who can play a lot of positions, like Brock Holt, who can essentially play every position in the infield besides catcher. I look at Garrett Whitlock as a potential like a utility pitcher, if that's even a thing, where we could see him do spot starts, be a closer, pitch long relief outings. It's just there's so much unbelievable untapped potential from Garrett Whitlock, and it's just such a fun sight to see. And he's only in his second professional MLB season.
Yeah, honestly, you know what Garrett Whitlock kind of reminded me of when he started? I don't know if you got this comparison, and it might be a little labored, but he kind of reminded me of Kyle Hendricks on the Cubs, the way he pitches. Because, like, you know, he doesn't have the most overpowering stuff, and he has more velocity than Kyle Hendricks does. But the way that Garrett Whitlock pitches, he pitches, you know, to the opposing team. You know, he's kind of a pitch to contact kind of pitcher. And you know, he can just blow away guys with whatever he throws, no matter what he does. So it's kind of interesting to see how good Garrett Whitlock has become. And, you know, I've said in the past I wanted him to be a closer. I don't know. After today, he's instilling me with confidence in having him be a starter at this point. So I don't know. Maybe we found our new starting pitcher, which honestly, I wish he went longer in that game. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, I know he went 4 innings. I wish he went longer. He probably could have gone 5 or 6 with the way he was dealing.
Yeah, I think the Red Sox just want to be cautious with building up his arm for whenever he eventually becomes a starter because this is the guy who came off Tommy John. I think he threw somewhere 40, 50-ish pitches in the game. And, you absolutely want to be careful with someone like Whitlock, who most reliable pitcher at this point throughout the whole Red Sox pitching staff. But, it's a cliche at this point, but I just have to keep on saying it where there's just so many different options the Red Sox can go with Whitlock. He can close. He can long relief. He can pitch long relief outings. He can start. I mean, it looks like we're grooming him into a starter, whether that becomes a reality full-time later this season or sometime next season. Whitlock's going to be great. And as we did earlier this year, or as we talked about earlier this season, the Red Sox were able to lock up Whitlock to a long-term extension. So he will be with us for a long time, which is just great. But getting back into the game, top third, nice defensive play from none other than Wander Franco to take a hit away from Christian Vasquez.
Christian Vasquez must hate Wander Franco after this series. Like, he robbed Christian Vasquez of at least like 2 or 3 hits in the series.
Yeah, and they had a close-up of Vasquez after the play Franco made in the first game of the series where Vasquez was just reacting and his like jaw dropped and he's just like, I can't even be mad at it. But like, right, does Wander Franco hate me or something? But this play was just as nice too, where it's a grounder to Franco at short, took a bad hop off his glove, bounced high in the air, and Franco corralled it, spun around, and just hucked it to first. I mean, it's just crazy how he does all this stuff against the Red Sox. And it's like he could fill up a SportsCenter top 10 highlight reel with just plays against the Red Sox in the last 10 months or whatever. Just ridiculous stuff. After that, top four, nice running throw by Wander Franco, once again in the news, to nab Alex Verdugo at first. This one wasn't as flashy as the first throw he made, but Wander Franco stole a hit from going up the middle and made a nice running throw to nab Doogie at first. Verdugo was originally called safe, but upon further review, Verdugo was called out. So just a string of nice defensive plays from Wander Franco here. Not too much going on again, as we talked about, because, sure, screw it, I'll bury the lead. Unless you haven't heard about this right now already and you're living under a rock. The Red Sox were no hit through nine innings of this game last night. But we head to the bottom of the sixth, and Trevor Story, as Ian alluded to earlier, made a nice running catch on the outfield grass to rob Brandon Lau of a hit. This follows up what Trevor Story did in the first game of the series, as he had a nice diving catch closer in the middle of the diamond. So Story getting acclimated somewhat defensively, making some nice plays early in the season there. I remember when I was at the home opener, he made a nice diving catch at second to rob a hit in the shift. As I said, not too much going on other than some flashy defensive plays from both sides. And the Red Sox are getting no hit through 9 innings. It was a combined no hitter. I think the Rays used 4 or 5 pitchers. Fire Rising only went 2 innings, as I talked about. But I got to ask you before we continue, what's more impressive to you, or is it even really a competition? Like, what are you more blown away by, when a team throws a combined no hitter, or when it's just one pitcher doing a no hitter?
See, I think a one pitcher is more impressive, just because you don't see it too often anymore. Where a pitcher, I'm gonna sound like an old head, but you don't see it too often when pitchers get a complete game. So I feel like personally that's more impressive, but it is impressive nonetheless when you can get a group of relievers, like 5-6 guys, to all throw one no hitter, which that might be more commonplace moving forward. But I mean, it's impressive nonetheless to get a no hitter, no matter how it happens, really.
Yeah, because I saw some comments on Instagram last night on the post saying, like, oh, combined no hitters don't count. Like, that's a Mickey Mouse no hitter. Everyone uses the term Mickey Mouse now for whatever reason. But, like,
See, I don't get that. I don't get that, though. Like, how? Like, it's still a no hitter. It's just a bunch of people throwing. Like, I don't really see how that's a problem, but whatever.
And I think both have the pros and cons, where it's like if a one pitcher throws a no hitter, the hitter has like 3 or 4 chances to try and, outduel the pitcher, because you know what they're going to throw, you know their pitches. You have 3 or 4 chances to just get one hit off of them, but you don't. So I think I agree with you. I would give the slight edge to a one pitcher throwing a no hitter, but combined no hitter is just as hard, because you're throwing all these different people at a hitter. Yes, but at the same time, that's also an advantage to the hitter, because you don't know how they face these certain pitchers statistically. They could easily get a hit against another pitcher versus struggling against another pitcher. So they both have their pros and cons, but it's very impressive when one pitcher can go the whole 27 outs and throw a no hitter for sure. And, all that old heads talk about, going back to that these days, is, oh, pitchers never get through the order the third time, like stupid analytics, the bullpen. Kevin Cash should be fired for what he did in the World Series a couple of years ago with Blake Snell, but I digress. The Red Sox no hit through 9 innings last night. As I said, a combined no hitter. That's the bad news, but the good news is the Rays had yet to score any runs in this game, so the game goes to extras.
And nothing interesting happened.
Yeah,
absolutely nothing.
Yeah, this is where all pandemonium breaks out. This is easily maybe the craziest inning of the MLB season, where in the top of the 10th, with a runner on second per the MLB's extra inning rules, Bobby Dahlbeck, of all people, breaks up the no-hitter by the Tampa Bay Rays in the top of the 10th with a triple to right field, past the diving Brett Phillips. Jackie Bradley Jr. scores, and it's 1-0 Boston. It just speaks to how sad and glum and weird this season has been so far for Boston when you hear the headline, Bobby Dahlbeck breaks up a no-hitter by the Tampa Bay Rays through 9 innings.
It is somewhat of an ironic title, I'm not going to lie.
And when I saw it live, I'm like, oh, that ball's going down. Like, we're going to score on this. Brett Phillips has no chance at that. Right before we went live here, as I was doing notes for the games, I watched the replay of that play. Brett Phillips' glove was really, really close to making that catch, like insanely close. So credit.
That would have been a wild catch if he made it, though.
Absolutely. I mean, JBJ was going to tag up regardless, because he was waiting to see if that ball was going to fall or not. But, credit to Brett Phillips for the effort there. Always been a Brett Phillips guy. He's great for baseball. But, that was very close. But nonetheless, JBJ scores. Bobby Dahlbeck RBI triple. Makes it 1-0 Boston in the top of the 10th. And the very next batter, Christian Vasquez, finally gets his own sac fly, brings in Bobby Dahlbeck, making it 2-0 Red Sox heading into the bottom of the 10th. So we got to be feeling good heading into the bottom of the 10th, because, as Alex Cora always says, with this new extra innings rule, you can't win games with only scoring 1 run in your frame of the inning. You need at least 2 to win. So at this point, I guess now it's a false sense of confidence, but I was pretty confident in the Red Sox somehow escaping with the win after being no hit through 9 innings.
Yep. They probably should have won, but other things happened.
We welcome back Brady. So, what's going through your head at this point as we head into the 10th inning here? Because actually, I'll ask you this question too. We'll get you in this debate. While you were gone, me and Ian were debating back and forth. What's more interesting, or what's better to you? I guess I'll frame it like that: a combined no hitter or one pitcher throwing a no hitter. What has more value to you?
One pitcher. I feel like we talk about this way too much on this channel, but a pitcher's got to have that endurance to go a good amount of innings. And, when one pitcher does it, he's the center of attention. He's the one that does everything. If it's multiple pitchers, you can see that one pitcher's getting lazy and they don't have that such endurance. However, it is nice if we're talking from like a team perspective, if multiple people pitch in, because, it's a team effort. It's a team sport. But if we're talking just personal accomplishment, then just one guy.
So, how crazy was this? I know you didn't see this game last night because you were at a hockey game, but like
I watched the 10th inning. I did.
What was your reaction when you hear like no hitter alert, Red Sox no hit through 9 innings?
Something like that.
So, are you feeling pretty confident too, though, heading into the bottom of the 10th when we're up 2-0 after scoring 2 runs?
To an extent, yeah. But once I'm not certain who the pitcher was in the bottom of the 10th for the Rays, but or for the Red Sox, but
we'll get into that. We have his name. We keep receipts here.
Oh God, no. Yeah, but once I saw who the pitcher was, I sort of dipped my confidence a bit because I'm not certain again who it was, but it definitely dipped my confidence a little bit.
All right, so now we get to the dreaded bottom of the 10th inning with the Red Sox up 2-0. I see Ian's smirk on his face. We all know where this is going. This is the new low for the Red Sox. They it doesn't get much lower for this at this point. But Hanzo Robles is on the mound. There's 2 outs in this game.
I want to blame things on Ryan Brazier.
Oh, we'll get to that in Game 3. You'll be able to blame him for today's game.
Yay!
Bottom 10th, 2 outs, runner on third, Robles on the mound, ground ball hit to Story at second. What everyone thinks should be the game is not the game. As Story rushes a throw from second, he went to his knee to grab the ball, off balance throw, goes behind Bobby Dahlback at first. Run scores from third on the Story throwing error, and now it's 2-1. At this point, I'm still thinking, all right, well, that kind of sucks, and it's a little uncharacteristic to see Story struggling defensively, but Kevin Kiermaier is coming up to the plate. All right, Robles can just blow balls past him, and we'll be fine.
His wonderfully blue eyes can't see him anyway.
So, 2-1 now. Runner on first. Robles facing Kevin Kiermaier. And with the count being 3-1, Kevin Kiermaier walks it off, takes Robles deep into right field. And just like that, the Red Sox are stunned. And they lose 3-2 in 10 innings after being no hit through 9 innings, scoring 2 in the top of the 10th, but letting the Rays, who were also runless throughout the whole game, score 3 unanswered in the bottom of the 10th to walk it off in Sun Boston. We thought 2 runs would be enough to win extra innings games, let alone this game where no one could do anything offensively. But the Rays saved their theatrics for last. Typical Tampa Bay Rays, the scrappy Rays, they always pull something out of the hat, and they are able to do it just in this game. Wildest game of the MLB season so far, and the Rays stunned Boston last night, 3-2 in 10 innings to even up the series at 1 game apiece.
Yeah, let's just get on to the next game. I don't want to talk about it. Let's just get on to the next game.
It's crazy to call the wildest game the one with probably the least offense.
That's the thing, and it's crazy.
Also, how is it Kevin Kiermaier though? Like, I know a lot of Rays fans, and they all have like negative feelings towards Kevin Kiermaier because like he doesn't like do anything. Like, yeah, he's a good fielder, but he can't hit. Like, of all the people that hit a walk-off home run off of us, like if it was Wander Franco, I would have got it. Like if it was Randy Arozarena, but like Kevin Kiermaier, like seriously.
If it were Franco, I would have cried. But
I wouldn't have even been surprised if it was Franco. I wish it was Franco in hindsight.
I wish it was Franco too. Like, I don't mind Franco. Kevin Kiermaier is not good.
No, Ed. Who was that guy that hit the grand slam off Sale last year in Game 2?
Oh, Jordan Luplow. Yeah,
that's
He's
another
gone,
random. He's not even on the Rays. He plays for Arizona now.
Of course he does.
Yeah, so we're gonna get the heck on with this series. I really want to wrap up this
franchise.
recap because I am the Rays. I think the Rays Red Sox has got to be the bigger rivalry. I don't think this is a hot take, but Rays Red Sox is a bigger rivalry than Red Sox Yankees, in my opinion, right now. We had the wild card game last year, but the last decade or so, who's fighting? Who's getting into bench clearing brawls? Rays Red Sox. Who's fighting for the division? Rays Red Sox. That's just my hot take, but I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
I agree.
Probably. They've met in the postseason more than the Yankees, so.
Yep. So we're gonna get on a Game 3 here. Game happened earlier today. Quick game, under 3 hours. Started at 1:10 today. Rich Hill versus Shane McClanahan. Once again, Red Sox get off to a hot start offensively, as in the first inning. Story hits a leadoff double off McClanahan. Kike Hernandez, very next pitch, batting in the 2 spot, RBI single, makes it 1-0 Boston. Later in the top of the first, Alex Verdugo, RBI single, makes it 2-0 to Boston. Bottom second, Rob Refsnyder, called out from Worcester, made a nice play out in right field as he robbed Randy Arozarena of trying to stretch a single into a double. And guys, when are teams going to learn? Stop running on our outfield. I don't care who's out there. Just stop running on us.
I don't know, man. I mean, Rob Refsnyder's been pretty good. He was pretty good in Worcester, so when he got called up, I wasn't really surprised. But, I mean, good for him that he made a pretty good play. Maybe he'll stick around in Boston for a while.
We see Arsenal cannons out there, and we just don't.
Yeah, I agree. And Refsnyder, great piece. I mean, I don't know how long he's going to be up here, but he can play a ton of different positions. So Red Sox obviously will appreciate that versatility. Another nice play defensively from Boston as Vasquez in the bottom of the 4th threw out Brujon trying to steal second base. After that, Rich Hill was done after 4 scoreless innings. This was his best start of the season. Went 4 innings, 62 pitches. Didn't give up any runs. You'd like Hill to get to 5. That hasn't happened so far this season, but not a ton to complain about from a 42-year-old Rich Hill holding the team scoreless and going for the ex-Tampa Bay Rays Rich Hill. So we get to the bottom of the 5th inning. Felix Valdez comes in relief for Rich Hill, but he loads the bases and only gets 1 out. And then Brady's favorite member of the Red Sox, Ryan Brazier, comes in and immediately lets up a double to G-Man Choi. Double to deep left field.
Of course,
off the wall,
it's G-Man Choi.
And
of course, it's G-Man Choi. I like G-Man Choi.
And the Rays party wouldn't stop there, as former Red Sox prospect Manuel Margot gets an RBI groundout to give the Rays the lead, just like that, 3-2 in the bottom of the 5th. Then on the top of the 6th, Kevin Kiermaier, of course, makes an over-the-shoulder grab to rob Alex Verdugo of a hit. Bottom of the 6th, Jake Diekman, wild pitch, scores Kiermaier from 3rd. It's the Kevin Kiermaier show now, I guess. 4-2 Rays. Arozarena actually tried to steal another run on this play with the wild pitch, but Diekman alertly was able to tag him out. Are you guys concerned with Diekman? I mean, back-to-back bad outings from Diekman. He got off to a pretty solid start this year, but I mean, when you have a guy like Diekman who looked like he could have been another reliable name out of the pen with Whitlock, taking another step back, I mean, Diekman just adds to what is already a mess in the bullpen. But I don't know.
I don't know. At this point, I'd be more shocked if we found a pitcher that doesn't give up a bunch of runs all the time. I mean, outside of Whitlock, I don't even know if we have another reliable pitcher coming out of the bullpen. Maybe Matt Strahm, because Matt Strahm's been pretty good. Strahm's maybe like our second best relief pitcher. And you don't want that. That shouldn't, no offense to Matt Strahm or anything. He's a great pitcher, but you want more guys than Matt Strahm in your bullpen.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
We'll see what happens when Josh Taylor comes back. I mean, I think people are forgetting about him. I don't know whenever he'll be back. I really don't know. I think it's soon, but yeah, just alerting for sure. Diekman struggled again today, as I said. And just to cap it off with the Jake Diekman experience today, bottom 7, Yandy Diaz takes Jake Diekman deep, makes it 5-2 at the time, and that would be the final score as the Rays score 5 unanswered runs today to beat the Red Sox 5-2, and they take the series, winning the final 2 games of the series 2-3. They take 2 or 3 from Boston to win this series.
Did I
Before I
call
wrap
it?
this up, guys,
I think I called it.
you called it, but then you were persuaded to join us and say that the Red Sox were
Yeah,
taking
you
2 or 3.
changed. You switched up at the end. So
You switched up.
I did.
I don't really want to spend another
Dang
second talking
it.
about this series because this was very draining. But as we always do at the end of these recaps, let's just talk about our standout players on both sides for the series. For me, Verdugo, a couple RBI singles in the series. Whitlock, 4 innings pitched, starting, first career start, 1 hit, 7 strikeouts. Those are my guys at the Red Sox. I got Wander Franco and Shane McClanahan. Shane McClanahan, again, good outing today. I think he went 6 innings. He had a little bit of a rough start in that first, but he was able to settle down and put together a quality start for Tampa Bay. But those are my 4 standout players for this series.
yeah,
For
I guess
me,
for mine,
it's-
I guess pitching wise. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So I was gonna say for me, I mean the only pitching thing I could say is Whitlock. So I guess I'm gonna go with Whitlock. For hitting, I guess I'm happy with the way Trevor Story played this series. You know, I think Trevor Story was good defensively. He had a couple hits in the series, so I'm all right with Trevor Story, I guess. And Kike Hernandez looked good too. So then for the Rays, obviously Wander Franco, you know, Kevin Kiermaier. Kevin Kiermaier. And then for pitching for the Rays, I guess everyone that pitched in that no-hitter game because they held the Sox to a no-hitter for 9 innings. So that's, I guess, my X factors for this series.
Yeah, I think you guys perfectly. Guys like Garrett Whitlock won his 4 innings. Guys like Shane McClanahan, who were part of, or not Shane McClanahan, whoever pitched in that no hit. McClanahan did have a good outing today. Kevin Kiermaier, obviously Wander Franco, all those guys had stellar series. That not great for the Red Sox.
So on that note, that's going to do it for this recap. Another tough series for the Red Sox. Hopefully they can rebound in the next 4-game set against Toronto. I want to thank all of you for watching. We're going to have a pre-series preview coming out pretty soon for the Toronto Blue Jays series coming up tomorrow. I think we're going to get that done right after this. But anyways, make sure to follow us on Instagram at BSML REDSOX. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, BSML REDSOX on YouTube and Boston Sports Media Live. Subscribe to all our personals and be on the lookout for a ton of exciting content coming to you every day on multiple platforms. That's going to do it for us today, guys. You have a great rest of your night.